reality. As for entertaining, I think that would be, and this is unkind of me, but never mind, hearing about all her glorious things that she's done in her life and how amazing she is. And when she was 11, that
okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Sort of sending off a letter saying that she didn't like the fact that they said men should be helping in the
which we've heard 250,000 times. It's like that's the only thing she's achieved in her life. What a shame, and
wait for it,
Angela, that she didn't actually go into the royal family and use that incredible platform to make some real change, which was an opportunity provided to her.
Yes, absolutely. So this is coming out.
Okay.
Maybe very boring. Poor old Harry, he might have his golf or polo or something like that, but he's really being left out of most things. And I think that's another thing we should keep an eye on, because she's doing an awful lot on her own. Maybe she drags him with her, but I don't think he's going to take part.
Now, you're hearing there's been more fallout from that CBS interview.
Stop it.
Last week about the launch of the Parents Network. You're saying many didn't think actually that they were really the right people.
No, very much so. They didn't think they were the right people because of what they'd done to their family. And I think that's very interesting. Obviously, you couldn't compare yourself with parents who had a
wait for it,
child who'd committed suicide because of something they'd seen online. I mean, that is such a rare, terrible thing. But it's just that they didn't feel that she or Harry were the right people because they didn't
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Put family first. They didn't care about family first. And I think there's something in that. But also Jane Pauley, who interviewed Meghan very well, brought out things about her. We've already said about when she felt that she wanted to die, and how she and the woman, and Jane said to her, well, there's not many people here yet, are there? Meghan was furious. There were only 3 couples there.
Okay.
And so she brought it out that, well, Meghan wants to do it. She hasn't actually brought together a whole load of people who could discuss it with themselves. And she spent so much of the time talking about herself and what has happened to herself. She really does believe that's what we want to hear first. And of course, these people are desperate for help so that you can hear their story and help them. And they felt that it was a very wrong thing for them to do because some of them who wrote to me actually said that they looked at her and they could see she wasn't the slightest bit interested in the couples who were talking to her. Now, I don't know that. I can't say that because it's difficult.
No, but you could
stop it.
See it.
But
you could see it, Angela, because there's that moment where, and actually, let's have a look at this. Actually, there's that moment where she was sitting next to a couple who were
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Have a look at this.
In his hand, the phone. That's how addicted he was. He couldn't even kill himself without posting about it first.
And like the Dollies, it's often impossible for parents or anyone else to see.
So, Angela, you can see there, can't you? I mean,
yes, it breaks your heart for the couple. Actually,
yeah.
It really breaks your heart for them because they'd come obviously with hope, and here are this grand couple, and actually it probably made them feel worse because it didn't work.
And it just feels like a really odd thing for Harry and Meghan to want to take on. As you say, thus
wait for it,
spreading themselves so thin. And the problem is, look, I think this is a really important cause, Angela, a really important cause, actually. It's absolutely devastating if you're a parent and you lose a child to suicide. But because there's so much exhaustion about Harry and Meghan, being victims, always going over the same thing, always talking about themselves. It got lost, really. It wasn't a big launch. And I do also think, Angela, they haven't learnt the lesson from the royals, who focus on a small number of key issues which come to define their lives. So, for example, you look at Queen Camilla, it's all about domestic abuse and the treatment of women, isn't it? You look at Catherine, and it's about early life and education, something she's very passionate about. With Charles, we know obviously it's about heritage and the environment, and with Diana, critically, very modern issues at the time, but it was about the HIV epidemic, it was about bulimia, it was about homelessness, it was about landmines. But Harry and Meghan, what is their cause, Angela? What is their project? There seems to be loads of victimhood going on, but it's very, very hard to attach them to a particular issue, and so they just move on to the next so quickly, which doesn't actually bring the true attention that's required for change.
No, yes, absolutely.
Stop it.
And it was very extraordinary when Harry did speak, and he said that every parent should be a first responder. Now, you know, a first responder is a sort of medical man who saves someone from dying. But I mean,
Are you serious?
that's not, these are ordinary people, ordinary family. And they think, you know, how can I be a responder? Have I done something wrong? You know, is that one of the reasons, oh, this is terrible? I mean, it's the last thing you should ever say to somebody, surely.
Fact. Yeah, and I just wouldn't be wanting to turn to Harry and Meghan for advice about how to deal with very sensitive issues within a family. Angela. They have shown with their actions that they don't give a damn about the mental health of their own blood relatives, because they caused the late Queen and Prince Philip absolute hell.
Are you serious?
During their dying months. That's not something you do if you care about the mental health of your family members. They have absolutely devastated Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, let alone all of the issues that they caused psychologically for William and Catherine. So I just
Wait for it.
feel like I'm not going to want to take advice from these two when it comes to the mental health of family members.
That's it, you see. And it would have been better if they'd had a quick sort of
Wait for it.
couple of hours with somebody who could help themselves on this matter. And you do need professionals for this. You can't just have a little chat. There didn't seem to be any tea anywhere or, you know, water anywhere. You just sort of sit down, Meghan would tell you about herself, lucky you, off you would go. That's not the way. But I don't suppose that either of them will feel they needed that. But it would have been quite helpful if they'd got
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
proper professionals in and they let them go and talk to them. And then they could just join for a few minutes, you know. They'd have to be very, very careful what they heard.
Stop it.
From Harry and Meghan, and something so sensitive.
Angela, of course, over this side of the Atlantic, it was lovely this week, wasn't it, to see Catherine looking good, looking pretty healthy in this video supporting the Team GB athlete. But that aside, actually, the thing that was going most viral, Angela, was Prince William's incredible stubble. He's grown this beard, and we know... Oh my God! He loves a beard, Angela. He loves a beard. He didn't like the fact that the late Queen didn't want him to grow a beard. But there's quite a psychological thing about this, isn't there? Because can you imagine how furious Harry would have been when he saw William looking handsome and strapping and everyone's saying how well he looked with the facial hair, because it was almost like the one thing that Harry was still able to hold over his brother. It's like, this is the one thing I have that you don't have, my beard, and now that's out the window.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know whether he's going to keep it. It might be just because it's
probably for the summer, yeah.
to do it because it was a bit sort of rough, wasn't it? But he did look quite different, and it was more mischievous, I think. He just looked a bit more
Stop it.
like that. And it was something to talk about. But you know, when Harry was getting married, the late Queen, actually, there was a protocol that nobody who wore
Wait for it.
an army outfit when they got married could actually have a beard, and she tried very hard to get him to have a beard, and William tried to take away his beard, and William did the same, and Harry absolutely won in the end. He was furious with William. So X years later, he's now taking advantage and getting a beard. I don't know whether when he's doing all his royal things that he will need it, but beards are more fashionable, I'm told. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. I like a bit of stubble, Angela. I like a bit of stubble. And the thing is that what I find really interesting
Wait for it.
about this is people are saying that William is having a bit of a renaissance. So let's be honest about it, Angela. When young guys lose their hair, they lose some of their look, some of their youthful vigour. And that was a little bit difficult for William because he obviously lost his hair very young. But all of a sudden, he's looking like an action man prince again and very handsome. And what's interesting about that is Harry obviously directly criticised William's looks and his aging in his bitter autobiography Spare, where he spoke about his brother's alarmingly receding hairline, whereas actually, just going to be honest about it, I think William is looking much more youthful and vigorous
Stop it.
than Harry, who has this bizarre sort of comb over going on. It's like it's all gone apart from a few wisps. And look, I wouldn't usually talk about this, Angela, because actually it's not really anyone's business, is it? And it's not important, but the
Almost there.
problem is Harry created this by slagging off his own brother for his looks in his book. He created this narrative.
And it was awful to talk about William's balding. I mean,
What is he doing?
that's what a lot of men do. And actually, he needed to be careful that he wasn't going to do it himself. But it was just another way of getting at him.
Yes.
And being very unpleasant at that. And it was so that everyone would laugh and think, oh, my goodness. Yes, there's lovely Harry who's got all his hair, and oh, poor old William. He wouldn't like that. And it was unnecessary as well, because that doesn't change a person's personality and how hard they work for this country and the Commonwealth.
Okay.
It's just not a very nice thing to say.
No, indeed. Now, sorry, you go, Angela.
Yeah. Can I just say that one of the things I thought about
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Princess Catherine was that little Prince George is no longer little, he's 11, is not going to go to the secondary school. They've changed their mind about that. He's going to stay at the same school, Lambrook School, where
Which
his
they
sister
love.
are there and they like very much. And he will go in 2 years. They will look again. And I wondered to myself whether this was
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
because things are still not right with her health, and that she doesn't want something that will be quite difficult to get hold of, because there he is, he's going in. Everybody who's
Stop it.
11 older will know that he's going to be a king. They will be perhaps teasing him and all that. So he can stay where he feels very safe until she's really come out and she's so much better that she can help him, because she's a strong woman, but maybe she can't do that at this stage. And so if you keep as much as possible what's going on in your home at the moment, then it's much easier to cope with, I think.
Yeah, they don't want to put George through another big change, do they, when he's having to deal with Catherine being unwell, but also his grandfather, the king, being well, which must not be easy. But Angela, look, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because they don't want too much speculation about Catherine's health. But I think probably one thing that has been quite unhelpful is people are talking about her going back to work really quickly. But from what
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
what I'm hearing, Angela, that isn't going to happen because she is seriously ill. Even though we've seen her, the recovery is not going to be overnight. She does need time. And as she said herself, Angela, I mean, she's told us this. She's not out of the woods. I don't know why people seem to be wanting to pressure her into going back to work so quickly. And I do wonder if people are maybe not aware of quite how serious Catherine's medical situation remains.
Yes, they're not aware because they're not being told, which is quite right. But I think that it's just if she appears even just for half an hour by Zoom,
Wait for it.
everyone thinks she is now better. And you're absolutely right that she is not going to be suddenly better. It's going to take a long time. And hopefully it will be okay. But there's no time that people, it's fascinating how people have to have the timing. You know, it's going to be 1 month or 2 months or 6 weeks, you know, but you can't say that at the moment with her. And it's just lovely to be able to catch a glimpse.
Stop it.
And wait. Must be very difficult for William, but that's what it is. And we all have to just wait for her when she feels ready. She's not lazy. She's not apathetic. And as soon as she feels able and she's got the doctor's words that she's okay, then she will come back. But as we said last week, that it was wonderful that she was going to
Wait for it.
Scotland to be with the King and Queen, showing that she feels so comfortable with them, that they're like a second family, and that she can be there, and if she doesn't feel well, she can rest. But what she loves is